And they're off. That was the start gun. And they've got some quite clean starts. Cats have swung out a little bit, but they're correcting their course with Mansfield chasing them. It looks like Teddy Hall are gaining rapidly on Lineker. Oh, and that's a whistle, so that's probably a length. Yeah, Teddy Hall are really going for it.
Yeah, flying start there, and a very strong and clean start as well. I think we could be seeing a bump in the next few moments, in fact. Really strong start.
And that's a concession already. That's good idea from the Cox, because they were never going to get out of that. So that gives them the best opportunity to not get bumped by any further crews. Hilda's already looking a little bit ragged, but they're charging up. And we've got Hughes behind them, and it looks like Peters have bumped as well. Peters must have bumped Hughes.
A couple of really quick bumps there off the start, even before we got to Johnny Bridge even. And then just as we look down now into the gut, Lineker still looking very composed despite that bump at the beginning there.
Yeah, and that will be probably some very calm coxing, keeping their heads. Did an early concession, and if I was a Cox, I'd probably call that as I'm going to concede, or just say like, this is what's going on. We're going to focus on catching the crew ahead. And they are rowing very composed. They're not under any pressure from St Hilda's at the moment, at least. So, yeah. And then Hughes. Yeah, Hughes haven't really made any space, any gains on Hilda's. So that might be just a row over for them, unless they can pull something out.
Indeed, unless Hughes have something huge in the bag, or indeed St Hilda's run out of steam towards the end, Hughes could make their charge as well.
Yeah, and also the steering, you can see Hughes have taken a very snaky line and they're rowing into the bay. And it looks like Mansfield are really closing on Cats. So Cats, as they pass their own boathouse, will probably want to put a bit of a push in, get around that corner, stay tight to the bank, and stay out the stream.
Yeah, absolutely. If Mansfield can manage to bump St Cats, this is the first change at the top of this division all week. So it'll really be in Mansfield's interest to get up to the top of this division. And of course, conversely, hugely in St Cats' interest just to stay at the top of the division and keep Mansfield away.
Haven't caught them in the past 2 days. So maybe they were trying a bit of a different, race profile, maybe going off a bit harder at the start, seeing if they can close the gap and rattle them. But it could be a row over, depending on how fit they are. Queen's looking very chilled. They look like they're paddling to the start. But they probably realise that there's no chance of a bump for them, so they'll save their legs for sandwiching tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Why waste your energy if there's no chance of catching people?
And yeah, Camera 4's giving us the feed of Mansfield chasing down St Cats. St Cats are looking very neat, actually. In fact, both crews are looking quite neat, although Mansfield have a bit more rocking from side to side of that boat. They look a little bit higher out the water, perhaps, and that's just making it roll around a little bit more. But yeah, Cats seem to have maintained that distance between them.
Absolutely, and important to note that this is, of course, Cats' 5th row of the week, so they've had their legs tested more than most other crews in this division. So they're doing really well to hold them off so far, and still, as you say, looking really composed here.
Yeah, just as long as their Cox keeps them out the stream, keeps them where she wants to be, doesn't worry too much about them. Although they are closing down, so actually, scrap that. You might want to start thinking about how you're going to get away from them. They've got 500 meters left, and they could sort of wash them down a bit, keep that distance, but Mansfield are hungry for it. You can see, and Mansfield have got an over the head crab. Cats will be very glad that they didn't concede, and two, stayed in their own rhythm.
Yeah, Mansfield seem to have recovered well from that now. And that might just inject a little bit more adrenaline into the Mansfield crew. I was about to say that Mansfield could catch them before the end of this division, but after that, I'm not so sure they will.
And it looks like Queens are taking quite a leisurely row. It's pretty neat. Maybe the slap catches worked a little bit.
Neatness, but not Not for speed by the looks of it. Not for speed.
No, it's almost a bit of a reverse ratio, which is how I row my single, but not intentionally. So quite fast up the slide and quite slow through the drive. They will go faster if they don't do that, but easier said than done.
Yeah, Mansfield looked to have been notched a little bit by that fairly large crab earlier on, looking a little less neat than they did. And I think Cats are going to stay safe.
Yeah,
today.
although you really jam the rudder on there, and that's quite an interesting move. In a way, you kind of just want to stay as straight as you can rather than weaving in and out, because that will cost you time. And the Cox is looking around; she's getting a bit nervous, but I think she'll be okay. Just
about. And Wolfson there just coming into our picture. They haven't been challenged by anyone, so a fairly leisurely row for them as well.
No, Lineker are quite a way back. Oh, and it looks like Corpus have really gained on St Hugh's. So this could be a bump coming up, although they are running out of space. So will the Corpus crew be able to secure that bump? Oh, and that's a concession. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm sure the Hughes could have perhaps tried to run across the river, but equally, maybe the safest option was the early concession and just getting over the line safely.
I think that must be one of the latest bumps we've seen today, almost at the end of the course here. But fantastic work from Corpus there.
Yeah, I think Merton managed to bump. Merton M2 managed to bump a crew. Can't remember who it was. Just before the line, which was quite nerve-wracking to watch. So it was quite a late bump. But yeah, that must be one of the latest women's ones at least.